I just got off a call with a large renewable energy organization that's using ProjectTeam, and one of the topics that we spent a lot of time on discussing was reports and dashboards. And as you know, ProjectTeam already includes a very powerful reporting engine and configurable dashboards that can answer just about any question that comes across in your projects or your portfolio of projects, because you can do cross-project reporting. But like a lot of organizations, they told me that they weren't completely comfortable building reports from scratch. They knew the data was there. They just weren't always sure how to turn, that data into the visualizations that they wanted. And that got me thinking it's a perfect use case for Claude Artifacts. And I'm not sure how many of you have used Artifacts before, but this is perfect for that. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to take data that you have in ProjectTeam and you've connected through MCP to either Claude or ChatGPT, but I'm going to use Claude for this. Ask it to build a dashboard with key data for you, and then even save that as a artifact so that you can run it again and again and just refresh the data, but the data is always there because it's connected directly to ProjectTeam. And it's something repeatable so that you can continue to check on that and explore ideas without having to build reports manually in the system. Okay, so let's jump in and see how that works. I'm starting off here with ProjectTeam on my left and Claude on the right. As you can see on the left-hand side, I have a project that has more of a renewable energy spin. So I'm tracking documents like my land agreements, my permits, I have executive decisions and consultant deliverables. I have construction phase processes like RFIs and submittals and contracts and change orders. And then I also have kind of the maintenance sides where I have maintenance work orders, capital improvement requests, all tracked in this one project. If I click on any of these major areas, let's say maintenance work orders, I see all the data within each of one of these. Okay, so I see a log view of the information. Let's look at my land agreements. I see all my land agreements. I could click into each one of these to see if it has any attachments or if it's been involved in a workflow, but that gives me that data. Also, if I go into something like permits, I see that I don't have any permits on my project yet, and that's okay because we're going to show something a little bit later to show how we can update information and it automatically tracks in Claude. So I'm going to go back here. On the right-hand side, I've already asked Claude if we have access to a Blue Ridge project in ProjectTeam, and it says, yes, you do. Next, I want to ask it to create a dashboard because, again, maybe I'm not so good at creating reports and dashboards in ProjectTeam. I want to just have Claude do it for me. So I'm going to go ahead and prompt it and say, can you create a new dashboard for the project? And then I'm going to ask it to include certain pieces of information that I think are important. So I'm going to say include land agreements, permits, RFIs, submittals, work orders, maybe some executive decisions, and the consultant deliverables. Okay. I also want contract and change order information. Okay. The next thing that I want to ask is that if I create this dashboard, I want to create it as an artifact, something that I can rerun. It saves within Claude, so I don't have to prompt Claude every time that I want something new and it kind of changes things and it might be different each time. No, I want the exact same thing. If I wanted to create something first to review that before creating an artifact, I could do that, but I'm going to go ahead and ask it to create the artifact. Create an artifact for this. I also, because I'm in the renewable energy space, want to ask it to give it kind of a renewable energy spin from a style perspective. So I'm going to say, I need this to look nice and styled for renewable energy industry. Okay, so maybe it uses more colors that and themes that are more geared towards renewable energy, if that makes sense. But I want it to look styled because maybe I'm not so good at colors and things like that, and I just want Claude to take care of it. So I've prompted and I've created that. I'm going to go ahead and say go, and then it's going to take some time here to work through what I just asked it. I asked it to look at the data. and it's already connected to ProjectTeam through MCP. So we provide those MCP connectors that are specific to certain tools, and it's all secure and it's all based on what you have access to. It'll work through each of the different processes that I asked, work orders, land agreements, permits, take the data and give me a dashboard, and then hopefully save it as an artifact that I can rerun. And if you remember, I had no permits before, so we should see that in my dashboard. But if I start to add permits, my dashboard should start to update as I add those automatically. So let's go ahead and see that. And now it's created that dashboard, and it's asking me here, do you want to save it as an artifact? Okay, the live project dashboard for the Blue Ridge Solar project. It lists all the information that you wanted. It pulls fresh data from ProjectTeam on each open. I'm going to say yes. So let's go ahead and create that artifact. And it's going to give me some quick stats about what it just did. And says that the dashboard's live. You can open the dashboard from the sidebar. It has financial information, there's status charts, there's tabbed logs, all that good stuff, okay? And I can click right here and actually view the dashboard. So here I've opened up the dashboard. It shows me land agreements, permits, work orders, RFIs, all the things that I just asked about it. Each of these tabs is going to show me information about the data. And again, this is live data that's pulled from ProjectTeam. Like for my land agreements here, I can go to land agreements and I see all that data. So here's that P00 or 1000 from John Carter. It's an easement. You know, it started to add all that data right here for me. It is also interactive. So if I was looking for something, all the different land agreements that are related to this Mary Thompson person, I can type in Mary and it finds that. So I have a way now to interact with the tools that I like to use for other things that I'm working on during the day, like Claude, but it's pulling data live from ProjectTeam. So I don't have to leave the tools. ProjectTeam becomes my single source of truth and the data that is behind all these other areas, but I'm interacting with it using these other tools. So that is awesome. The only thing is right now I have 0 permits, okay? In previous videos I've done, I showed you how to create information using your favorite AI tool like Claude or Chat to create information and drive that back to ProjectTeam. But let's say that I'm working with somebody else and they import permits at a certain time. So I'm gonna go back in ProjectTeam here, go to my permits, and go through a very quick import process. So I'm going to go ahead here and say batch import. I've already filled out the data that I need, so I'm going to go ahead and say upload. Here's my permits, and I will upload that. It goes very quick, says that now I have 25 permits. If I go ahead and view my permits log, I see all that data is in ProjectTeam, okay? If I go back over to here to Claude, I see 0 permits, but if I refresh the data, I now see I have 25 permits. So the data is connected. I didn't have to rebuild a dashboard. I didn't have to reprompt it or anything. It's just there for me. It gives me kind of a, whatever this is, a donut chart about my permits. If I just strictly want to look at my permits, I can click on that data and it goes down here and shows me all those permits that I just imported. So it is immediately connected. It also lets me go away. So if I actually open up Claude in a larger screen here, I have other chats that I want. So I can go in here and say, let me go to new chat. What RFIs are on the Blue Ridge project? You know, I'm having other chats throughout the day. Things are happening. And then I'm like, oh, you know what? I need to get back to the artifact that we created. In the upper right here, you can click and I have artifacts. There's that dashboard that we created a couple seconds earlier, and I can click on it and it's there in full screen. So here is my dashboard with really nice charts. It looks like a renewable energy styles because I asked it to do that, and it gives me all the key metrics that I need to run my business. So you can imagine how powerful that is, not only for a renewable energy, but whatever industry you're in, because of the flexibility of ProjectTeam and being able to configure forms to match whatever process you want, and then extend those tools by connecting to your other favorite solutions that you're working with. There's unlimited power in what you can do within the system.